You're now listening to the Engage the Rockies podcast, your go-to podcast for local and state issues concerning Colorado.
Hello, Rockies. This is Sarah Jane Maroney, your host for your go-to podcast for local and state issues concerning Colorado. Welcome to Engage the Rockies Week in Review. This is for the first week of December in 2024. Top headline from KRDO News: false rumors of Colorado Springs mayor's arrest fly as officials call on him to address FBI allegations. So basically, he wasn't arrested, and that those headlines were false. And they are actively, his office said that they're actively working to get the headlines corrected. But all of these reports stem from an FBI investigation into an alleged hate crime hoax leading up to the mayoral runoff. Just to review, in April 2023, a video was recorded and sent to local media outlets of a burning cross in front of the then mayoral candidate Yemi Moboldy's campaign sign with an N-word slur written across the sign. Colorado Springs and the Department of Justice began an investigation. In early November of 2024, the DOJ announced that 3 people had been arrested for their roles in allegedly faking the hate crime and trying to influence Moboldy's chances in the race. Then, basically, the mayor's office said that he didn't know anything about it, and yet the Daily Wire released an article on the 21st of November citing an anonymous FBI source who claimed that the mayor had lied to federal agents. So now there's more information coming out and people calling for Mayor Moboldy to answer and respond to whether or not he did lie to the FBI. And he hasn't been defending himself. What was interesting is George Brocklew, who we've interviewed on this podcast, felt compelled to speak out. He said, quote, "It's confounding and concerning, and I say that as someone who's in the business of trying to discern right from wrong, lawful from unlawful, and trying to gauge whether someone is being credible or not. The guy needs to be on camera answering a very direct question. And that direct question is, did you lie to the FBI? It's not, I have fully cooperated, or I have met with, or I am the victim of some unnamed hate crime. It's a yes or no question." So, and then various others in Colorado Springs, including Councilman Dave Donaldson, and also one of Mayor Moboldy's opponents, Wayne Williams, have all said they want answers as well. And the article states that as of 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, there was no response from the mayor's office. Moving on, the Denver Gazette talks about a man seriously injured in a shooting near Colorado Springs Park, and the police are investigating. It is an investigation by the CSPD's Domestic Violence and Adult Sexual Assault Unit. Officers responded to a call at 1:30 about a shooting in the 1200 block of Kingsley Drive, just south of Twain Park and San Miguel Street. They found a woman with visible injuries, but no gunshot, and half a block from the residence, they found a man with 1 gunshot wound. What I loved about this story, which is odd to love something, but Johnny Bruton and Mario Ramirez, contractors who were working at a residence on the same street, heard a gunshot and ran to help. So, and Bruton stayed with the wounded individual, attempting to keep him conscious and calm until the police arrived. And he said, quote, "Where I come from, when you see something like that, that's what you do." So well done to Johnny Bruton and Mario Ramirez for helping aid someone and helping the police as well. The nearby Twain Elementary School was placed on lockdown status until police were able to confirm there was no immediate threat. So, Colorado Springs man, this is also from the Denver Gazette, was arrested. Michael Hirsch Hemmersbach, 36, was a resident of Colorado Springs. He has pleaded guilty in Douglas County and sentenced to 23 years. He was pulled over in July 13th of 2023 near the Happy Canyon Road exit, and a trooper saw his car weaving and therefore pulled him over, and they found quite a lot of drug paraphernalia, 3 pounds of meth, a pound of fentanyl pills, and other items used for distribution. This is from Deputy District Attorney Sherry Geiger in Douglas County. In addition, quote, in addition to the vigilance of the Colorado State Patrol for spotting an impaired driver and taking off the streets before he could injure someone, their efforts also helped to take another distributor of poison off the streets, end quote. Another article, this is from the Denverite. Former mayor, and this is the headline, former mayor Michael Hancock is now a lobbyist for companies that made hundreds of millions during his tenure. So what's interesting about this article is that the very end of the article says, Hancock does not appear to be in violation of any policies. So the Denver Code of Ethics states, quote, during 6 months following termination of office or employment, no former officer, official, or employee shall obtain employment outside the city government in which they will take direct advantage, unavailable to others, of matters with which they took direct official action during their service with the city, end quote. So what this article is pointing out, however, though, that 6 months has passed and former Mayor Hancock is not in violation of that. However, the U.S. Congress and the Colorado legislature itself must wait 1 to 2 years before lobbying. And yet there are also major cities like Chicago and LA that have 1 year cooling off periods. And they're simply pointing out that the city of Denver only has a 6-month cooling off period. And then finally, the Colorado Sun headline, Colorado senator barred from having state paid aides after repeated complaints from staffers. So state senator Sonia Jaquez Lewis of Longmont, accused in the past of mistreating legislative aides, is the subject of a new workplace conduct complaint filed by her 2 most recent subordinates. So basically, they filed a complaint on the 15th of November with the legislator's Office of Legislative Workplace Relations, alleging that she paid the aide who did landscaping work and tended bar over this summer at a party with a check from her campaign's bank account. She did respond and said that she said that they were compensated. This is a quote from her in the article. I regret that there was an oversight in filing these payments in Tracer. I am amending the reports to reflect these payments, but evidently this is the second time. And the outgoing President Steve Fenberg of Boulder said, quote, this is now clearly a recurring issue. In good conscience, we cannot support placing an aide in your office while this behavior and complaints continue, end quote. So evidently, Senator Jaquez Lewis has no more aides. And finally, from out there, Colorado, there are 3 counties in Colorado with less than 1 resident per mile. That would be Jackson with 0.85 people per square mile, Hinsdale with 0.7 people per square mile, and Kiowa with 0.8 people per square mile. I found that they were a little mean to Kiowa. It says about Kiowa, in terms of outdoor recreation and other tourist opportunities, there's not much to do here, though it is home to the Sand Creek Massacre National Historic Site and a portion of the Trans-America Trail bicycle route. Wow, if you like Kiowa, maybe that's why you want to live there. But they were pointing out that there are 3 places in Colorado where there's not so many people. However, Hinsdale and Jackson had quite a lot of tourist attractions, so maybe it's bringing others in. Anyway, those are the top stories for the first week of December 2024. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for listening to the Engage the Rockies podcast, your go-to podcast for local and state issues concerning Colorado.